Hi, everybody. It is Wednesday, February 14th, U.S. Valentine's Day, as it were. It is What Chaos. I'm DJ Bean, a.k.a. Phil Kessel. That's Pete Blackburn in Chicago, a.k.a. Phil the Thrill Kessel. And we got Sean DePaz, a.k.a. Phil. Hi, boys. I was kind of lazy on the nicknames today.
Happy Lover's Day, lovers.
You're my lover. That's a Taylor Swift song. It's off her album Reputation.
Perfect pitch. Congratulations on going viral again yesterday. I love when you go viral in the most you way possible. Like the beauty of the internet is that people like you, who are very complimentary, people like you, you have a one-of-one brain. You're the only person in the world that would have made that video, and you made it. And I'm so happy that you made it, and I'm so happy that people liked it. Some people.
I think that somebody tried to call me racist about it and said, I can guarantee nobody would be making this video if he were dating Serena Williams. And I really wanted to say, I can guarantee only one person is making this video, no matter who he's dating. This is not about he's dating Taylor Swift thing. In fact,
you didn't even mention Taylor Swift. And that's the most stunning thing from that video to begin with.
Credit to Dave. I kept it about Travis. To those who don't know, I wasn't planning on this being the topic of chit chat, but maybe we'll do a little bonus chit chat today. Chit chat more than we usually do.
I feel like you need to explain to people what you're talking about.
Okay, and by that, Sean means I think you need to explain to you, Sean.
No, I know. I saw your video, but like. Someone in the chat said "LOL what?" ? And just wanted for the people that haven't seen what your video. I feel like you should explain what it was.
Correct.
Or just send them to your Instagram.
Somebody in the chat said Serena Williams doesn't even play football. Also, anyway, yeah. So Travis Kelce was screaming "Viva Las Vegas" when they won the Super Bowl, as a lot of people saw, and I don't know why this struck me. But because of the way he was saying it, I was like, that sounds more like a certain harmony to that song than it sounds like the melody. But it does sound like that harmony. So I checked, listened to the song, and I was like, yeah, not only is he singing this harmony, he's singing it in the correct key. So the fact that he's just pulling out this correct key out of his ass, which there's a 1 in 12 chance of that happening because there's 12 major keys, means that he is either remembers things in the correct pitch, which some people can do, a lot of people can do, I can do it, or he has perfect pitch, which the slight possibility of Travis Kelce having perfect pitch is the funniest thought in the world to me, because when you see him screaming after the Super Bowl, you're like, this person doesn't, like, take the Lombardi trophy away from this man. This is the least musical thing I've ever seen in my life. Send this man to jail. But he shows some musical prowess there. So I texted a couple friends about it, being like, first I texted Nicole Yang saying, fuck, I think I have an idea for an inane video about music and football. Then I texted it to... I
love the idea that your ideas start with fuck. I have another idea.
Well, it was like a fuck. I'm gonna do this. I wanted to like maybe do some stuff for this show, edit a couple of reels, maybe search for that missing flash drive. But I was like, fuck. And this was at like midnight or something. Then I texted Nora and I was like, I think Travis Kelce might have perfect pitch. And then I texted a music friend being like, I think Travis Kelce might have music pitch. And they had shit going on. They were like, I can't do this right now. And I was like, okay. Well, I'm going to get cracking on this video. So I made it, edited it, and yes, on TikTok, it did blow up, as they say. We're not a day in, and it's at like 500,000 views.
Wow. It got bitches on TikTok?
That's the thing. I don't think I've ever gotten bitches on TikTok like this before. To
Damn,
brunch
that's
listeners,
crazy. Good for you.
Bitches means social impressions.
Yeah, it's getting bitches.
So if
I think that's the first time that's carried over from the brunch world into this world, talking about getting bitches.
So if you post something, by the way, I can hear how tired I am, and it's because I've been staying up making fucking Travis Kelce TikToks. So if you post something that does numbers, or I guess the better example would be if you post something and it isn't well received, nobody clicks it, doesn't do anything, then you get no bitches, is how it is put. But this one's getting bitches, and TikTok commenters, I got to just put the phone down, because a lot of people... I'm Ron Swan. When it comes to music nerdy stuff, I'm Ron Swanson in the hardware store. Someone's like, actually, I think he might be. I'm just like, I know more than you. Trust me, you're wrong. Anyway, so for the what so far we've had Megan go super viral this week.
Mm-hmm.
Dave going crazy viral. People are asking, when is Pete going to pick up his slack and finally go viral for once?
I'm not going to go viral, and I don't want to go viral. Every time I go viral, it's a headache for me. So,
well, it's always a headache going viral.
Not necessarily. Sometimes you go viral for something funny, and people all agree that it's funny, and everybody enjoys it. Most of the time, it's people getting mad at me. So I don't. That's not why. I'm good not going viral.
That is true. You go viral in a bad way. A commenter has, I believe, Jesse Larkin has pointed out, got the JVR behind me.
Mm-hmm.
It's because JVR made me some money last night. I went to the Bruins game. We'll talk about that later when we talk about game time. But went to the Bruins game, bet JVR anytime score. He scored one. It was the best, so JVR gets prime position tonight. But a topic of chit chat is that Pro Shop Wars has been placed on YouTube, all the episodes to date, and there's been immediate fallout because you are not the only person who sees all the episodes of Pro Shop Wars are there and immediately starts yelling at me because there is not a Columbus episode on there. So I'm trying, Jennifer. We just don't know where it is.
We're going to get into the Ridley Grieg pronunciation stuff. Or the Ridley Grieg fallout and Morgan Rielly fallout. But I did just get a very interesting update from Michael Russo, the Athletic writer. We posted our Ridley Grieg pronunciation clip, and he responded and said, "This is the funniest thing about this is that he's the one guy on the Sens roster on the NHL media site that does not have a click to listen how to pronounce his name right next to his name. If you go down the entire roster, there's the little click to hear the pronunciation. Ridley Grieg, the only guy that doesn't have it."
That's because they don't know. And that was going to be my announcement, really backed by Sean. Sean's providing 90% of this announcement, and I'm just being a mouthpiece and then running away from it, is that I love Bruce, the boss, I call him. Love Bruce Garriock. Love his contribution. I am not sold. I am not slamming the door shut on the pronunciation question. Sean is nodding his head. I don't think Sean bought that for a second.
We have to hear it from him. I mean, I feel like this has happened before where you hear a bunch of people act like they know, but no one, he's the only one that knows. Also, I like the idea that maybe he just likes the mystery and is just never going to tell anybody.
A regular Brad Marchand.
Man of mystery.
Regular Brad Marchand, just fucking with people, changing the pronunciation every day. March 19th, the Senators are in town and we'll be going. Even though I hope maybe by then we'll have gotten some concrete evidence. I was going to email the Senators people the way I email Tate McRae's people, but I was like, nah, we got to go up to Ridley and say, you know what we want. Give it to us.
Yeah. Did
Say
either one of you listen to the suspension video and how they may or may not have pronounced his name? Because wasn't that the determination? We're gonna decide that however they pronounce it in the video is the correct pronunciation.
That was your suggestion, and I think Sean and I were both opposed because we just don't know.
I mean, I'm still literally nothing matters to me until I hear it from Ridley or someone in his family.
Sean's going to go up to him and say your name, and he's going to say whatever it is. Sean's going to say, "You're goddamn right." And then we're going to know how it's pronounced.
It's Ridley's Believe It or Not. It's Greg or not.
I almost put the Ridley's Believe It or Not thing in the reel about us trying to pronounce his name, but I instead opted to give cousin Greg from the show Succession I watch on there. Give him prime placement.
That was a nice touch. Morgan Rielly suspended 5 games for his cross-check to the old face of Ridley Gregg.
And as a commenter pointed out yesterday, we do chit-chat, not hit-chat here, but I feel we can assess the 5 games. Yeah, I think it's fine. I wish it were 100. I was considering doing like a fake reel to piss off. Should we do that? Like a fake reel to piss off Leafs fans? Maybe.
No. Let's pick our battles with Leafs fans. The Nylander video was worth it. I don't know if this one will be worth it.
And I don't know if we were to say he should have gotten the rest of the season, I feel like they just wouldn't buy it.
No, probably
Actually,
not.
I don't know. They're not that smart. They probably would have bought that and been really upset. But 5 games, like, you can't do it. You can't go up to somebody and cross-check them in the face. I feel like the league probably can assume there's going to be more things like slap shot empty net goals. So they got to nip this one in the bud. They got to say, look, you can't cross-check somebody in the face when they score an empty net slap shot because there's going to be more of these. So before you start even thinking about it, don't do it.
I agree, and I think it's fine, and it's honestly on the lower end of what I maybe expected him to get. Like, I was thinking 5 to 7 is where I was expecting the suspension to land. So if that's 5 games, like 5 games well earned and 5 games well worth it if you're Morgan Rielly. Then again, like it's not money coming out of my pocket, it's money coming out of his pocket. So easy for me to say, but 5 games for that to send a message and kind of show that the Leafs have a spine, I don't have a problem with it.
You know how much money he loses?
How much?
$194,000. That is real money. I don't care who you are. 100, because he makes a ton of money. He makes like 7.5. People forget Morgan Rielly was an all-star this season.
It's only because it was in Toronto.
That's correct. No, that would make sense if he were on the Canucks.
They got like 9 all-stars.
That would make sense if he were on the Canucks or the goaltender for the Colorado Avalanche. Those were just
but at least the Canucks were like, all the Canucks that made the All-Star game were pretty deserving.
Yeah, could not.
Like, I didn't have a problem with any of those. Yeah, Canucks talk. Phil Kessel may be on his way to Vancouver. Well, he's literally on his way to Vancouver. He's probably in Vancouver. Right?
Cut the shit. I know you want to shoot your wad on Phil Kessel, don't we all?
Yeah.
We need to note Ridley Greg scored again last night. He's on fire. He began that slap shot. Didn't just start Morgan Rielly's heart. It started a revolution, and it started a change in the NHL where there's a new sheriff in town. We may not know how to say his last name, but it's Ridley, and he is tipping home pucks. Goal last night was way fucking boring. Never want to see it again. I only want to see him do slap shot empty net goals, but he's now scored 2 games in a row. He had a 2-goal game earlier in the season. I think he's up to like 9-10 goals. Don't sleep on this kid. He was a first-round pick. He's kind of tall. He wears a cool number. I don't know if I want his jersey yet, but don't sleep on him. He is not messing around. Now we can get Phil Kessel. Unless do you have comment on that?
Just one more note on Ridley Gregg. Like you mentioned, it's lame when he scores on a goalie now. I want him to be an empty net merchant. I want him to be deployed every time they pull the goalie, and I want him to just pull that shit every time. How funny would it be if that was what he was known for, and he scored like 30 goals a year, just 25 of them on an empty net?
Did you see Great Minds Think Alike, our friend Coach Greg? I'm not good at TikTok. I only post on TikTok. I don't consume.
Coach Chippy?
Coach Chippy Coach Chippy did a video of him doing an empty net Michigan.
Was it Coach Chippy or was it somebody else? Because Coach Chippy does like the impression videos.
Yeah, you
Not
said
like-
someone else yesterday. I don't know.
Could this have not been Coach Chippy? How
Probably
to
wasn't Coach
hockey?
Chippy. Okay.
Is that Coach Chippy?
No, Coach
No.
Chippy is just Coach Chippy everywhere.
Fuck.
Coach Chippy is the guy that we met at the CCM house,
Right.
who was in love with the burger that they were the burger that they served.
It could have
He's like,
been
"This is
him.
the
It
best
could have been.
burger I've ever eaten in my life."
Hey, commenters, make yourself useful. Find who did this because they did a good video. It was very smart. It was
You texted Coach Jeremy.
Coach
there's
Jeremy is a person. Yeah.
so there's multiple people named Coach something.
Yes.
I don't like this.
There's famously 32 coaches in the NHL who all have different names.
And they all passed on Gunnar Wolf Fontaine. What kind of coaching is that? It's like a Belichick the coach versus Belichick the GM.
Yeah.
Talk at the coach. Good job. Talk at the GM. I don't. Hey, by the way, you know who sucks is Wah the coach. Kind of spark is that?
His team's not very good. To be
Maybe.
honest.
Well, that's because of Wah the GM.
True.
Lou the
Put
coach.
together
is
a
doing
better
fine.
roster, buddy.
How to hockey is Coach Jeremy. We are told.
Okay.
But they did other empty net goals that Ridley G could score, and they were pretty great. He did one where he laid down on his stomach and shot some pool. He did one where he sat on the puck and flew into. Like I loved all of these. I wasn't mad that like, oh no, we did the empty net Michigan thing because that for sure is basic discovery. The empty net Michigan that he did was sick.
Yeah,
Sean would have liked it.
As a couple people pointed out in the chat, the Blues poked a little fun at the Maple Leafs last night because they got their ass beat by the Maple Leafs and tweeted out what Kelly said. Empty net goal in Toronto. That's usually not good. Pavel Barber, also big hockey content creator, put out a video of him in Ottawa, like doing a display during the game, and he took he had his goalie like leave the net and took like an empty net slap shot just for the Ottawa fans there, I guess. So people are having fun with it.
Man, I'm telling you, Ridley is starting a revolution. But yes, Pete, Phil Kessel has been chatting with the Vancouver Canucks. GM Patrick Alvin says Kessel is on his way to Vancouver. Will be working out in Abbotsford, which is in Canada, this week. Phil could be back. He's 36 years old. He scored, he scored
14 goals last
14
year.
goals, 36 points in 82 games last season for the Golden Knights. Won them a Stanley Cup. Only needed 4 games in the postseason to do it. What a legend. And the question is, do we like it? Does it do anything for the Canucks? I've got a thought on does it do anything for the Canucks, but I'll ask you, do we like it?
I mean, I like Phil Kessel being in the league, period. I don't want him sitting at home. So Phil Kessel coming back to play for a team that is at the top of the standings, has real Stanley Cup aspirations. Like, this isn't Phil Kessel coming back to play for the Buffalo Sabres or for, a team that is depressing. This is a real team with real Stanley Cup aspirations, and I love that. So do I wish that it was an American team? I want Phil Kessel to always be playing in America. He had the worst years of his life playing in Toronto.
I was going to say, when he played in Canada, it was fucking hilarious.
Not for Phil. Like, it was hilarious to watch Toronto burn down over Phil Kessel, but like it had negative impacts on him. So I would prefer for him to stay in the United States as America's golden boy, but I do like him, and I think that there is a spot for him on the Canucks.
So I think the way if he ends up playing in Canada, maybe the Maple Leafs should liquidate whichever American goal scorers they might have to even this all out. So maybe if the Leafs have any American goal scorers, they probably don't after that display from William Nylander, that disgusting anti-American display of his. They should they do. Austin Matthews is, Sean's telling me, is American. They could send him to like the Devils.
They could send him to the Bruins. That'd be cool.
I don't want Austin Matthews on the Bruins.
He can go home.
What?
I don't
You
want
want
Austin Matthews.
what kind of? I want to dissect this statement. Why don't you want Austin Matthews on the Bruins?
Because the Bruins will always have some sort of buzz in some sort of heat. Will they potentially be losery? I say this with all the love in my heart. Yeah, only one team wins the cup a year, but eyes will always be on the Bruins because they certainly refuse to rebuild. So they're always going to be relevant. And as long as they got goaltending, Pastrnak, they're going to be good. I want to spread out the Austin Matthews. I want to drop him someplace where maybe they need a little more buzz.
What about Columbus?
Maybe where he's from? Question mark.
I would love if you could reassign one player to one team in the NHL. That's a good, all right, throw out whatever show plan we were going to do today. If you could reassign one player in the NHL to one other team, who would it be and to where? Sean?
Easy Austin Matthews to the Arizona Coyotes. Bring him home.
That has to be the number one pick in this exercise. Austin Matthews on the Coyotes would be the absolute best. And the Coyotes, even more so than they already are, Sean, would be appointment viewing. Bruce Cassidy would not be motherfucking them in the press. I can guarantee you that.
Also very good friends with Clayton Keller. Drafted him pretty high in the All-Star game.
Well, as part of this, Clayton Keller would be released from the NHL altogether. It's a butterfly effect thing.
Okay. Makes sense.
Pete, who would you assign and where?
I'm gonna take Alex Ovechkin and plop him in LA. Alex Ovechkin on the LA Kings would be a whole lot of fun, and I think it would solve two problems at once. Although maybe not so much a problem anymore because Alex Ovechkin lighting the lamp, as they say, as of late. But putting Ovechkin in LA, Hollywood lights, that'd be awesome.
All right, this is the Mike Greenberg in me. I was able to snuff out that this would be a good topic as it was organically growing. I don't have an answer for this, but as a good distributor of the ball, I needed to get that out there and make this a topic. I'd also
like to put Connor Bedard on a real NHL team.
No, I love Bedard on the Blackhawks. I would have to donate so many clothes if Connor Bedard were no longer on the Blackhawks. Half of my clothes right now are Connor Bedard Blackhawk things. My first thought was I would assign Maple Leafs Zach Hyman to the Oilers for all those years that he wasted before he was on the Oilers. But let me think. Top players. Would I reassign like Quinn Hughes? Nah, I like him in Vancouver.
There's some obvious, like someone in the chat said Quinn Hughes to the Devils. There's like obvious reunions, I feel like a lot of people, and by a lot of people I mean me, would have loved to see Pat Kane on the Sabres. Trying to think
you had your chance there though. Like he said no.
It doesn't mean we don't want him.
I'm trying to, who's an awesome player on a team that I don't really care about a ton.
Anybody on the Blue Jackets?
No, I care about the Blue Jackets. I like the roster.
That's a fatal flaw of yours.
Connor Bedard to the Blue Jackets.
Connor Bedard on the Blue Jackets would be a while. Oh, you know what? No, I don't want to take Frank off the Ducks. There are a few places you know what? I'm just going to proactively say Macklin Celebrini to the Sharks. That's my lame answer.
All right.
I'm going to think about this. Somebody said Pierre-Luc Dubois to Philly. That would be incredible.
Oh my God. That's
for like 3,000 reasons.
That's such a good answer.
Someone said hurdle to anywhere else. My chest hurts. I'll tell you what else hurts. Any thought in your brain that doesn't like Prize Picks, because Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to turn every game-changing moment into 100x your money. With as little as 4 correct picks, you can turn $10 into $1,000. I'll tell you what, there's so many different things you can do on Prize Picks. There's a section where you could see various community players, celebrities, big names, guys and gals that you'd say, hey, what are they doing on here? They're on Prize Picks. Yeah, they are, because everyone's on Prize Picks. I'm talking about the likes of Meek Mill, Andrew Schultz. You'll see everybody on there under community plays, under the promos tab on the app. You can view entries from some of the biggest names in the Prize Picks community each week. Prize Picks even offers injury assurance so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. It is a great time on there. I've had such a good time. I hope you do too. You can go to prizepicks.com/whatchaos and use code whatchaos for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/whatchaos and use code whatchaos. Daily fantasy sports made easy. I want to say this on the Phil Kessel thing. They for sure, the Canucks for sure do not need Phil Kessel, but Phil Kessel has been at his best when he's been on a team that does not need him.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
The Penguins kind of needed him when the Penguins had him.
I mean, mark of a good cup contender is having a strong third line. He was part of a very strong third line for that team.
One of my favorite third lines of all time, the HBK line.
That was
one of the best third lines ever.
That was a copyrighted Pete Blackburn take. You seeing this third line of the Penguins these years? I'm liking it. And everyone was saying, what? Isn't it about Crosby? No one cares about depth. And Pete said, no. You're going to want to check out this HBK line. That wasn't
the awesome HBK line and the third line of the Tampa Bay Lightning when they won with Coleman, Goodrow, and who was the third guy?
Would it have been not Gord?
No.
Oh, Tyler Johnson?
No, he was gone. It was Goodrow, Coleman, and I forget the third one, but that was like one of the best third lines.
Nikita Kucherov. He'd been demoted for not trying.
Yeah, that's right.
But the Canucks for sure don't need him. They are second in the NHL with, I think, 3.69 goals per game, which is amazing. So they don't really need a Phil Kessel. It did get me to notice, though, the top 5 teams in goals per game: Avalanche, 3.7, Canucks, 3.69, Stars, 3.66, Oil Boys, 3.51, Red Wings, 3.5. So all 5 of the top 5 teams in goals per game are in the West, kind of. Because you never know.
By the way.
What's that?
It was Yanni Gord, by the way.
It was Yanni Gord?
Yeah. Good for you.
Hell yeah. What a guy. So yeah, the Red Wings are kind of in the West sometimes, depending on the year. So what a strong season for the West that all top 5 teams in goals per game are out there.
I mean, I feel like we've hammered this home so much, but like the Eastern Conference, man, is just the far inferior conference this year. And, we said the same thing about the Western Conference last year, and they ended up producing the Stanley Cup champ. So I'm not saying that like the best team can't come out of the Eastern Conference, but if you're really like having a discussion about the best teams in the league, you're primarily talking about teams in the West. Yeah. And it's just really, there's a real imbalance this year.
Oh, by the way, I think I figured out which goalie I want to or which player I want to reassign.
Yeah.
Jonathan Quick to the Kings.
Oh no, that's so mean to Jonathan Quick.
Why?
Because he's like his career was flatlining last year, and then he got shipped to Columbus, and then he was like, "No, thank you." And then Columbus was like, "Also, no, thank you. You can have him Vegas." And then he goes to New York. Benoit Allaire saves him, revitalizes him, gives him a pulse, and then you kill him again. That's mean.
I'm not killing him. I'm having him go
to
revitalize. He's going to go back there and revitalize them. Or you know what's not a bad one? Jonathan Quick to the Flyers. Be a nice little tandem there.
They could use a goalie.
They obviously could.
Yeah. Although I did see the Flyers are like, did you see that the Flyers are still planning on selling at the deadline this year?
Yeah, I saw that, and I'll believe it when I see it, and I'll be annoyed when I see it. They can't sell at the deadline. They have to stand pat. They have to do the thing where they trade a 6th-round pick for a guy who you didn't know was still in the NHL, so you could say, hey, job well done, boys. We're adding to this team. Good for you. We're not giving up on you.
I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be annoyed if they sold at the deadline, just because does anybody really think that team stands a like real shot at contending this year. They're a nice surprise, and I think this first half would still hold value even if they did sell. But like asset management is a big part of the job, and evaluating where you are like genuinely as a team is important. And I don't think the Flyers, especially with their goaltending concerns down the stretch, like I don't think that they're a team that should really be taken seriously this year.
Yeah, but they're a middling team. And if you're a middling team in the NHL, you always should want to go up versus down. And I know you say, well, obviously you want to be good versus bad. Like some leagues, the NFL, you're a middle of the pack team. You go get like a top 5 pick. Why don't you go on ahead and do that? Add some star power. You don't want to stay in the middle for too long if you're an NHL team. And if you go to the bottom, you can stay there for a while. I got to give Felger credit for kind of what he was saying about the Sabres, where like you don't want to take the opportunity to suck. So if I'm the Flyers, I'm just careful with how I proceed there. And
sure, but I think you also like if you're the Flyers and you see, assume that the New Jersey Devils are going to load up a little bit at the deadline. Like if they get a goaltender, I mean, we can transition into the Markstrom stuff that came out yesterday, where they were apparently close on getting Markstrom. Like if you get a good goaltender plus, and you're the Devils, I think if I was the Flyers, I would be okay being like, well, they're going to overtake us. Let's wave the flag. And like, I'm not sell the farm if you're the Flyers, but if you've got some expendable pieces, if you got some expiring pieces and you can recoup assets for them, I don't have a problem with that.
yeah, so the Flyers are third in the Metro right now, and the Devils are third in the wild card race. They're on the outside looking in right now, but there has been reporting that the Devils have been active in trying to get a goaltender. Frank Saravalli reporting that they almost swung a deal for Jacob Markstrom last week. And if you're thinking, why would they trade for Jacob Markstrom? It's because the Devils goalies fucking suck this season.
And Jacob
Real
Markstrom
bad.
is awesome.
What's that?
Jacob Markstrom is awesome. Why wouldn't you trade for Jacob Markstrom?
Yeah, oh, so you're saying, you were doing the like, of course thing. I thought you were doing that. You had the energy of, ugh.
No. You were like, if you were going to ask the question, why would the Devils trade for Jacob Markstrom? I don't think anybody's asking that question. It makes sense on both sides. Yeah.
So Vanacek, 32 games played, .890 save percentage. Akira Schmid, who has been sent down and now emergency recalled in 15 games, .893 save percentage. This, as I said, has the Devils on the outside looking in. So they try to swing a trade for Markstrom, and we'll talk in a second about what this package was. Crazy big package that they would have sent to Calgary. But you got to remember, Devils have Dougie Hamilton on long-term IR, can come back in April, potentially has been speculated. So they can do the thing. They can do the Tampa Lightning thing, where just go way over. They've got $10.5 million in cap space with Hamilton on the shelf right now. So if ever there were a team that could say, screw it, let's spend, let's add a bunch of money, it's the Devils.
When did you decide to start calling the Tampa Bay Lightning the Tampa Lightning? Past couple days, you've made it happen.
It was half callback to yesterday and half me being tired.
Okay. I didn't know if this was like a thing that you just decided, like they are now called the Tampa Lightning.
I'm doing the thing that they did with The Office made Kevin such a bad character.
Why say many words when few do trick?
Yeah, that by the time I got to that shit, the spilling the chili is my least favorite moment in television history. So bad, so cringe, so horrible. But maybe that's what I was doing.
You have the package, because the thing that I saw was that Alexander Holtz was going to be included in the return to Calgary. But I didn't see. I don't think I saw the full details on the trade that was proposed.
Yeah, that's what I was referencing. That they would have thrown in Alexander Holtz, and I don't know if they would have gotten more stuff back as part of the deal. But you got a recent 7th overall pick who looks good so far, 12 goals this season. You would think a big part of your future, and Markstrom can be part of your present and your future too, I guess. But boy, oh boy, Saravalli had said that I think it did get to his level to approve it, Markstrom. There were no issues there. Somehow along the way, the trade was scuttled. I don't know if maybe the Devils were like, okay, we're giving up too much here, or we need to get more back. Maybe it was salary retention. But
yeah, I saw Friedman reported that salary retention was the reason that it fell apart. But yeah, the Flames apparently brought it to Markstrom and asked if he would waive his no move clause. And that's a big deal because Friedman has been saying all year long that the Markstrom does not want to be bothered by the trade talk. And it really does bother him. And he wants to keep it out of sight, out of mind as much as possible. So if the Flames actually did bring a deal to him and said, do you approve this? Will you waive to go to New Jersey? That means to me that it was very, very close to the finish line and then fell apart.
It could be either way. It could be like, hey, we don't want to waste anyone's time here. How do you feel about this team? All right, cool, because we've had some talks. Now we can proceed and try to nail something down. I've seen it go both ways, but it could for sure be the way you're talking about, where they're like, look, this thing's done. Can you just sign this piece of paper for us, please? And then we can all get out of each other's hair. Markstrom has 3 years, or 2 years after this, I should say, left on his contract at $6 million a year. He's still really, really good.
That's a deal. Like
he's
like
old.
That's not prohibitive.
He's still, I agree. He's still really, really good. He's old, but I think that for this year, next year, and the year after that, he can be.
How old is he? So what, like 30, 33, 34?
Yeah,
he can't be older than that, right?
Yeah, he's 33.
That's not old.
He's going to be.
That's not old for a goaltender.
35, like if you're turning 35, 34, 35, 36, that's old.
My brother, Jonathan Quick, is what, 39 years old, 38 years old?
And you
having an unbelievable year.
And you wouldn't put him on the Kings. You said he's too old.
The Kings almost killed him. Benoit Allaire saved him. So Jacob Markstrom has been good for a while. By the way, now.
He's not 33. He's 34.
Oh, okay. Now, well, he's ancient now.
He is. He's old.
I did see. I don't know how much stock we want to put into this. Like, I love Mike Grinnell, but I don't necessarily know if I trust Mike Grinnell as an insider. But he threw out that.
I don't love him.
You don't love him as an insider?
I
love Mike Grinnell.
Mike knows how I feel about him. I do not love that man.
I do. I love him to death.
I don't love him.
He threw out that Noah Hannafin.
Not my favorite guy.
Shut up.
I'm kidding. He's the best.
He threw out Noah Hannafin was potentially part of the Markstrom deal to New Jersey. Like if New Jersey got Markstrom and Hannafin in one fell swoop, that would be incredible.
I need a team to have Noah Hannafin and Dougie Hamilton. What wild shit that would be.
I didn't even think of that.
After the Bruins essentially tried to trade Dougie Hamilton for him, couldn't do it, and then they were traded for each other, and they ended up on the same team, I'd need them to have some like sort of meeting in a diner, like in Heat, just being like, how about us?
I don't like you, but I respect
what's going on?
You.
Yeah, like what's going on between here? I could see Dougie being like, I don't even know who that guy is. Just focus on
I could see Dougie not knowing who half the people in the league are. Like 3/4 of the people in the league. Dougie just minds his own business.
Laser focus. We've said this before. Some guys know everything about the league, every player, every stat, everything. Milan Lucic was like a savant with that stuff. And then you had guys like Sean Thornton, who if you were like, name 5 other teams, he'd be like, why would I do that? Like I'm giving my everything to playing hockey. I'm not going to talk about hockey and nerd out about it.
The one team that I play for is the only team that matters to me. So why would I care about any other team?
Why am I going to go talking about that's another man's team? I'm not going to talk about that man's team. Sorry.
Keep another man's team out of your mouth. Do want to say I saw that like the expectation is that these talks are not going to be resumed. That like there was a falling out in these negotiations, which I don't necessarily buy. Like you can always go back to the table, but if that's true, the Devils might be moving on to a guy like Elvis Merzlikins or UC Saros now being thrown out there as like the Predators fielding calls on Saros, which would be really, really intriguing.
Yep.
Say again?
No goals.
No goals. No goals.
Yeah.
It'd be a bummer. You wouldn't be able to run that commercial anymore.
Maybe. Do you think that when people see that commercial, they know that those are two hockey players even?
I'm sure they know they're two hockey players, but maybe people don't really make the connection between Ryan O'Reilly and UC Saros and
crisis
them
actors.
being teammates.
UC Saros is wearing giant yellow goalie pads in that video, so it would not.
They'll think they're Canadian pop stars.
True.
Just Photoshop it.
Well, the pads are on
Edit and
correctly.
post.
Pads are on correctly, so definitely not pop star.
That is true. By the way, Tate McRae in photos with Justin Bieber and the Kid Leroy and co. So maybe they're all friends now from like the All-Star game.
I mean, I think the more likely scenario here is Justin Bieber, who is great friends with the Kid Leroy, like perhaps best friends with the Kid Leroy, is just hanging out with Kid Leroy's girlfriend.
Possibly. If those two are an item. We don't know. She was spotted with Sharky at All-Star Weekend. That was a big story for us. So
That's right.
we don't know about that. Saros would be interesting. The Devils really getting a goaltender would be interesting.
They need one, man. They've been playing better in front of the goaltending as of late, but they need a goaltender to really be taken seriously down the stretch. And we get into the discussion about like how much of it is on goaltending, how much of it is on defense, and like the problem can be fixed. Like look at the Oilers, right? They were not playing defense. Stuart Skinner looked bad, and then as soon as they sort of fixed their system, Stuart Skinner looks a lot better, and Stuart Skinner looks great. So I don't carry that feeling to New Jersey though. Like Vitek Vanacek has been fucking horrible,
Very
for
bad.
most of this year. Like noticeably horrible for that team. And this is a good team that is a goaltender away from being a really good to great team. So like, and they need to stay healthy, obviously.
Mhm.
If they're fully healthy and they get a goaltender, they could win the Stanley Cup.
They are maybe the Panthers of this year, where high expectations going in, obviously haven't played the way that you thought they would, and I don't know, maybe it's like the division they're in or something, but they just become forgettable, and they've been an easy team to leave for dead. Yet one fix makes them a pretty formidable out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I might be perusing Devils futures, because who knows?
I had an interesting thought last night, and I'm putting myself out on a ledge here to look very stupid, but I'm not counting out the Buffalo Sabres as a playoff team this year. I know I should. I absolutely know that I should. But they're starting to put it together a little bit, man. And I know that they played the Kings, but they fucking kicked the shit out of the Kings, and that could have been a galvanizing win.
They played the Kings twice. They played the Kings right before the break and also beat the shit out of the Kings. They've scored 11 straight goals against the Los Angeles Kings. I think the Kings are just bad.
I was going to say, I think that this show has just been Pete and I not being able to wrap our heads around the fact that the Kings aren't good. Like, why are the Kings? It's crazy that Dubois is having a bad season and the Kings aren't winning games, and now their coach is fired and they just got smoked. How come it keeps happening? What are the things that are happening to the Kings? It's like they're just not as good as we thought they were, man. Like sometimes you just got.
I refuse to buy that. I refuse to buy it. I think the Kings are still a good team.
I will say about the Buffalo Sabres that Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen has turned into like one of the best goalies in hockey since January. I think I saw that he was top 5 in save percentage amongst goalies.
I was telling you that a few weeks ago.
1st.
I was like, yo, look at these guys.
Don't let them get hot.
He's been really good, but still, I think it's a little too late for the Buffalo Sabres.
I think that's got to be
it. Probably is, but they're only like I say only, but they're like 10 to 12 points out of a playoff spot. If they rip off like 5, 6, 7 straight wins, you're talking with them right back in the mix.
Sean, say clearly, because I cut you off, say, I think it's a little too late for the Buffalo Sabres, so we can make this into a reel. And then,
oh no, don't make it into a reel. I'm going to get crushed.
Oh, Pete, quiet for a sec.
I think it's a little too late for the Buffalo Sabres.
Oh, that was clean. You're going to get roasted in the fucking quote tweets.
I'm going to get killed for this.
You're going to get roasted in the quote tweets. Let's kick his ass, everybody.
I will say about the Buffalo Sabres, they play the Panthers and then the Wild, and then they play the Ducks, Canadians, and Blue Jackets. next week. So there is definitely the potential for them to go on a little bit of a run, but I feel like I just can't see a world in which Don Granato gets this team. Like, I don't see Don Granato ever coaching the Buffalo Sabres in the playoffs.
Pete, can I get a firm in the mix from you? Can you say that you are putting the Sabres in the mix, or at least what I famously put the Sharks on, infamously, earlier on the season? Could you say that they are on in the mix watch?
I think the Buffalo Sabres are in the mix watch. And if
they're on in the mix watch.
I think the Buffalo Sabres are on in the mix watch. Like, let's go back in 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. Let's review where the Buffalo Sabres are. I could see them ripping off a bunch of wins and them putting themselves in the mix in the playoff hunt in the Eastern Conference. I think the Eastern Conference is wide open enough where no team is really out of it except for the Columbus Blue Jackets, who stink, and the Ottawa Senators, who kind of are a mess. No team's really out of it. But the Buffalo Sabres could be in the mix, and you heard it here first. They could be in the mix. What they can't do, I'll tell you, what they can't do is trade Casey Middlestat. Do not trade Middlestat mode. If you turn off Middlestat mode, the Buffalo Sabres will not be in the mix.
I would rage if they traded Casey Middlestat.
We got huge Buffalo Sabres news last night. I follow this guy on Twitter named Alan Walsh. I believe he follows back because we said some kind things about him. He tweets about his clients. And last night he tweeted about JJ Peterka.
John Jason, baby.
That is so good for us. I don't know how or why, but we want to be in the JJ business.
Yeah.
And we're definitely in the Alan Walsh business. We should have Alan Walsh rep this show. Sean, hire Alan Walsh as your agent.
As long as he's not charging, I will.
Yeah.
He already has
don't make any deals for me.
Just tweet about me like once every few months.
Oh, we should get him on. And I bet he would do that.
He might, but he has his own podcast.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You didn't respond to this. Neither one of you responded to this last night. I got a text from somebody within the Buffalo Sabres yesterday, and they were like, "What's your address? I'm going to send you some stuff." And I dropped that in the text, and I was expecting like, "Yo, what the fuck? Like, what's that about?" And it was just a little ignored.
It should have been me, I guess.
I agree. It should have been you.
How do we get? Yeah, who booked Darlene on the show? Like, who's the biggest Sabres fan here? Like, I'm just wondering where you slot into all this. You reap the rewards.
I'm asking the same questions, but I was just stunned that there was no questions coming back when I threw that out there, and I don't know what it is yet.
Can I be honest, Pete? I don't think you wanted to hear what our responses would have been.
No, I did. That's why I put it in the chat. That's why I was like,
Big Pete was ready for what America had to say on that matter. So what if you said, "Hey guys, I just got this," and it was you said it very nice. But you just got back, "Fuck you. Sean has left.
Cool,
bro. I would have felt that it was fair. That would have been a totally fair response.
Jalen Hurts' voice. Cool.
I put it out there as like a confusion thing. I don't know what this is about. Like, they didn't ask a size. They didn't ask any questions. All
they know
they
the
asked
size.
was, they probably do know the size.
Small.
They probably do know the size. But I don't know what it is. So, and I'm not going to be home until Monday. So should I bring the box with me to Monday's episode in studio and we can find out live what it is?
Yeah. I mean, also part of why I didn't respond.
Live unboxing.
I was at the game. We'll talk about that in a second. I was at the big game. The other was, I've been told that we were getting something from a team.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I was more of I'll believe it when I see it.
Been a minute.
Yeah.
Same here. We were kind of ghosted. I asked for things for the podcast for multiple of us, and it never came.
Which team?
Should I put them on blast? Yeah, okay, I will. Remember the Cincinnati Cyclones when they did the paint the town red jersey? They said that they were going to send us the jerseys.
You were supposed to get the January 6th jerseys.
The January 6th jerseys, and they never sent them.
They probably said that before they saw us making fun of them. For
No,
putting
this
that
was
across.
after the
Oh,
fact.
fair enough.
That's why they said they were going to send us the jerseys.
The Syracuse Crunch promised me they'd send me a jersey, and they did. So
We got big timed by like a minor league hockey team. It's
not
tough
even.
luck.
That's an insult to the AHL. It's tier 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's still minor league.
Oh yeah,
but-
yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm not putting anybody on blast. I thought there would be a jersey on set by now, and I would have
Whatever
done
team he plays for.
What's
I
that?
said whatever team he plays for.
I would have done the ultimate sign of respect. This is like when Johnny Carson would call over a comedian after they would do their set on his show. When I flipped the jersey backwards to reveal the name on the back, that, in What Chaos lore, is the ultimate sign of respect. I believe it's only been done for 2 players on this show. One of them is James Van Riemsdyk. The other one, and it may surprise you, is Zach Hyman. I don't think McDavid has gotten the back.
Well, DJ Bean and Blackburn.
Yeah, DJ
That's right, we've
Bean
gotten
and
the back.
Blackburn, yeah.
Our show, where you got to show them what's what. But like, I'll tell you what, Mike Grinnell, if I had a Mike Grinnell jersey, I don't love him.
I will say,
So I'm not flipping that thing backwards.
Lark said in the chat that minor leagues run slow. It did take a very long time for me to get my jersey from the Syracuse Crunch. So maybe it's still coming. It's been a minute.
Let me push back on that. The reason that we wanted that jersey is the January 6th element to it.
Yeah.
Not saying that like we're supporting the January 6th movement, but that's why the jersey was funny, and it would have been funny to wear it around that time. We're at US Valentine's Day. That joke has lost a lot of its luster.
I mean, I feel like there's a good chance they just didn't have them to send until the game. Like they might not. It might have been a minute until they had the ability to send extras. Because like I said, it took a long time for the Syracuse Crunch to send me my jersey.
If
But
we
they did.
get a Ducks offspring jersey before we get a Cyclones insurrection jersey, which is what they're called,
Insurrection jersey.
I will be very disappointed. Actually, no, I'll be pumped because I would rather the Ducks offspring jersey.
How do we not?
I've put the Cyclones jersey out of sight, out of mind before this discussion. So like, I'm cool with us never getting that. Like, because like I said, I think the joke has run its course.
Hey, you know what? Let me get in a read real quick.
Okay.
That made me think we should get a drop of Felger saying, "So do you guys have commercial breaks that Sean can play to keep us honest about reads?" I was telling you all day yesterday that if you don't want to see me, stay off Game Time because that's where I'll be. I said I was going to be on Game Time. I said I was monitoring. Said I was trying to get myself to the Boston Bruins game last night. And guess who ended up blowing up our group chat with pictures of chicken fingers and cool shots from the game last night? Dave. Because I went to the game, saw the Lightning do the most egregious use of ruining overtime by regrouping. They spent like 2 minutes wasting overtime, but not 1 second of my night was wasted, and that's thanks to Game Time. Game Time is the ultimate place to score last-minute tickets, which really, yesterday was a day where you're thinking last minute. People were worried about the snow. Oh, no, should I go? Should I not go? We scored great tickets, and Game Time has an amazing layout, easy app use, putting how many tickets you want. I went with a big group, and you are off. So you can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHAOS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHAOS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I am so tired. What were you talking about before?
Jerseys, insurrection jerseys.
Jerseys, insurrection jerseys. Oh, somebody asked if we have any trips coming up because they thought we cooked on this trip. By the way, Brother We Fucking Cooked is catching on.
I love that.
One of my friends, when I posted the Travis Kelce video, said, "Brother, you fucking cooked."
Nice.
Love it. Best compliment. But I said, we don't have anything planned at the moment, but we could. Here's the thing. We got offers for, like, teams are saying, hey, come hang. We'll do stuff. So do we put the pedal back to the metal before the end of the season, or what do we do here?
I mean, I'm never gonna turn down. Like, if a team wants to have us out, I think we should go.
Yeah.
I really want to. I want to go home. I haven't been home in like 3 weeks.
Yeah. And our credit card statements are going to look horrible.
Yeah, I know. So
I know somewhere we can go where you don't have to pay for housing. I know 2
Buffalo?
places we can go where we don't have to pay for housing, actually. Buffalo
and Phoenix.
And Phoenix, Arizona.
I was surprised we never did a Buffalo trip. That was our plan early on. And we just couldn't make it happen. But the Sabres were awesome to us in Toronto. So maybe they've caught feelings and they'll let us make some cool stuff.
Feelings for Pete, clearly, because they're sending him stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they could be sending me just like a bag of shit. So I don't no idea what's in that box.
I hope it's a signed JJ Peterka jersey with a note that says, "Give this to Sean."
Oh my, that would be incredible. If they asked me for my address to give you like a sneak attack gift, that would be amazing.
It would also
I am excited for the first ever live unboxing on the show.
A hilarious dunk on you.
Send Sean stuff.
But not to me. Send it to them and make them think it's for them.
Yeah, teams give
Trojan horse the show with Sean Gibbs.
I like that. I like Sean gifts. Yeah, I mean, we got a couple ideas that are specific to going certain places. And I think I'm already getting the itch to get back on the road. We cooked so hard, man.
Home, I'll be honest with you. But we've gone almost an entire show as an Oilers podcast without mentioning the fact the Oilers absolutely lit it up last night. And Connor McDavid had 6 whole assists.
Yeah.
Career high.
Went to the game, drove, as I famously do, parked, got home in time to see the Oilers smoke the Red Wings. They were tied 3-3 going into the third period, and the game ended 400-4 because the Oilers went off, scored 1 million goals. Connor McDavid, 6 assists, hit 600 points in 613 games. He's the 4th quickest to ever do it. I said it last night when they said he had 600 points. Every time I see that he reaches a statistical milestone, I'm like, I assumed that he already had 4 million goals, assists, points, Stanley Cups, everything. It's crazy to me to be reminded that he's still a young guy who is checking these things off because he is the most unbelievable player we've ever watched play hockey.
Yeah, like he's gotten like halfway to 700 points in the past 2 seasons. He's just gone so far off what you would expect from a regular NHL player that I agree with like that. Like I couldn't believe that he hadn't been there yet. So Connor McDavid, I will say the futures bet on Connor McDavid that I took in November. Ooh, baby, that might cash. That might cash.
Zach Hyman back to scoring. Love to see that for the boys. And I wonder if the Oilers losing to the Kings galvanized them because they got their shit rocked on Saturday night. There was no Gene Open that could save them from what happened to them on Saturday. And they came back last night and played a close game against a good team and then blew doors. Watch out for my Edmonton Oilers. They've also won 8 in a row at home.
I'll ask this question. Is there a limit on how many times you can be galvanized in one season? Is there a limit there?
I feel like, is it like getting your nose cauterized where one should do the trick? It doesn't because the Leafs have been galvanized like 400 times.
I think you can be galvanized more than once.
But I think your nose can only be cauterized once.
Yeah, but I mean, I do agree that like you can be galvanized after a bad loss. I mean, we famously asked Andy Reid a hockey question, what was the most galvanizing moment of your season? And he said, after the loss to the Raiders. So
that didn't make the clip. That was just like, to borrow the term from Felger, that was just you clearing your throat. Mm-hmm. That was your first question of the night. You were just fucking getting warmed up. I wasn't really paying attention, but Andy Reid gave a long answer about like this certain game. And you said, Coach, what was the most galvanizing game? And Andy Reid was like, that one.
Yeah, he was like, awesome. The loss to the Raiders. We got embarrassed.
Right. And he gave like a really good, Andy Reid was so good with us.
Andy Reid is good with everybody, I think.
I love Andy Reid.
Rules. Yeah.
Andy Reid made a great impression. Travis Kelce made a great impression. Debo Samuel was a little pissed. Isaiah Pacheco, that's just the great. We said on Monday that I would leave the show if Isaiah Pacheco could replace me.
The Pete and Pacheco? The
Pete and Pacheco
show?
I said I would leave the show. I would understand. I would, however, storm off and do a Who's With Me. And Sean would respectfully stay on the show because he'd want to see what Isaiah Pacheco was all about.
He would not do a Zellweger and Jerry Maguire.
No.
He would be the rest of the office. Like, no, I like my insurance.
There would be he would stay. There would be no romance. There would be no annoying kid that talks about marsupials. Although, as we've discussed, you are that kid. Kind of look like that kid. So it wouldn't work. It couldn't be done.
Okay.
But that's that. Do we have anything else? Ovechkin, we did want to mention, has scored in 6 straight games. So don't let him get hot. Don't let him score like 10 goals this season, which he might do.
Do let him go to LA, though, because him and the Kings would be fun. That's all I'm going to say. We didn't even mention yesterday, I think that the Washington Capitals' new arena deal is dead. I think they're staying in D.C. instead of moving to fucking
It was going to be Alexandria, Arlandria, one of the Andreas.
Alexandria is the place from The Walking Dead.
I'm pretty sure it was Alexandria.
Yeah. Why don't you eat shit
Speaking
on that
of
one?
The Walking Dead, that's basically the Capitals.
Guy has the pronunciation gods on his side one time and starts pulling rank on Alexandria and Arlandria. Is there like an Alexandria, Georgia? Or is that where they go in?
No, Alexandria is the place in Virginia. Like it's a Virginia.
They go to Virginia?
Yeah, but it was also
a lot on that dead show, huh? It's a long walk. I'd be dead after that walk.
You got to fill 47 seasons somehow, pal, and 8 spinoffs. Oh my god, is that show still on TV?
Probably.
It's got to be, right?
I fear it is. Maybe. Well, this has been a productive time. You're going to want to hear tomorrow's show because on tomorrow's show, we got a lot of fun. It's neat. It's what chaos. Talk to you. Do we have anything to promote? Get on the YouTube, like everything. My TikTok is a real talker right now, but you can only do that if you want. And that should be that. We'll be back tomorrow to wrap up the week. All right. Bye now.
We all silly like the mayor.